Hello one and all, my name's Henry and today I'd like to introduce my financial ratio scraper, which is my submission for the final project for CS50's Introduction to Python Programming. So starting on my GitHub page in projects, we'll scroll down to the README file, which in broad strokes describes the financial ratio scraper as a piece of software which is capable of seeking out financial reporting and documents from institutions, making a copy of those and then scraping values from those to be used in the calculation of ratios, which are then able to be subsequently used in financial analysis and further processed. So some of the challenges faced in doing this is that a lot of institutions don't use a standardized nomenclature for these financial metrics. So to scrape them, I've chosen to use an approach where we have a list of accepted terms for these variables, which the software will then run through in order to find and scrape them from the documents. So in its entirety, the project is quite expansive, but for the CS50 project submission, I've just submitted the initial backbone of this project, which essentially will take in, which is phase one here, will take in CSV files, Excel spreadsheets, scrape the metrics from those by running them through a list of accepted terms, outputting data frames with the results, and then making calculations of the ratios subsequently, outputting a subsequent CSV data frame from those metrics. There's further documentation and reading to be done on the README page, and encourage everyone to go there at your leisure. So moving now to the program open in Jupyter Notebooks, you can see up the top are the imports required, being pandas, yfinance and numpy significantly, and OS, which is a standard library anyway. The main function will call upon some subsequent functions to achieve this, the first of which is get statements. The user will be prompted for an input being the name of the file to be found. The file must be saved in the same directory as the program, so the function searches the current working directory for that name, somewhat unfussily, so it doesn't need to be an exact match for the name. We've tried to make that a little bit easier on the user in that regard, and it will then drag that in and open that as a data frame. The data frame is then cleaned using the function clean data of any less than desirable symbology, any strings, and everything's ensured to be an integer or a float in the numbers column to enable us to do the calculations later on. The scrape values function then is called to essentially run all of these metrics here that you can see listed using a helper function into the data frame using the list of acceptable terminology for those. So it's able to then, if these values exist in the data frame that's been imported, it'll then return or output the corresponding value from that cell. Those values are outputted as a dictionary and also as a data frame so that the user can check. Towards the end of that function, there's a lookup of financial data from yfinance. So the user is also prompted for a ticker or a company trading symbol for a listed company to input to enable that function to do that. If there is no ticker or the company is not listed or that doesn't want to be availed by the user, they can simply return out of that or press 0. It will read an error, but the calculations will still be enabled to be done. Next, the ratio, we have a function to tabulate those results. As I said, those are outputted as a data frame, which can be checked, and also as a CSV in that same working directory. We move down then to calculate the results, which takes in the dictionary or the data frame of results and inputs it in as into these formulas, outputting ratios. This is also tabulated as a data frame and outputted as a CSV for the user to use. So if I go to the top now and run this in its entirety, you can see that we're prompted first of all for the name of the file. The name of the file in this directory here is called statement underscore BA for Boeing. So I'll enter statement only into this and see what it finds. It comes up with an error here. This is more to do with pandas and some changes that are being done. You can see here is the data, it's the data frame head and tail with 109 rows. So it's converted 3 sheets into one data frame, being the cash flow, the profit and loss, and the balance sheet from that inputted Excel spreadsheet file. I'm then prompted for the company ticker, which in this case is BA, so I'll enter that into here, and the program will then go about looking up the share price, EPS, and the book value per share from Y Finance. And you can see here, this is the first data frame of the results that's outputted, and you also have the corresponding over here results CSV, which I can open up. So this is it outputted as a CSV. Then the second one in the terminal window down here is the ratios outputted here, and that is the results underscore ratios, ratio underscore results, beg your pardon, which is outputted here for the user to use. You could go on and there's a fair bit of scope for improvement on this, and what we can do with these values afterwards, and that'll be something for me to pursue later. But I hope this is useful for some of you, and this has been my financial ratio scraper for CS50's final project. Thanks very much for your time.